Okay, so that obviously didn't go very well. Some would argue it might have gone slightly better than expected. It was 6-3 in the end, obviously, but for the purposes of this breakdown, shall we say, I'm mainly going to focus on the first half because, yes, we did win the second half, and I'm pleased for Martial that he was able to get his 2 goals, but let's be honest, by the time it came round to the end of the game, City had 3 or 4 teenagers on the pitch. They had players playing out of position, players coming back in from injury just to get minutes on the pitch. They weren't too fussed. Obviously, they are going to be slightly annoyed that they've lost the second half, but they're not going to be too fussed about Manchester United's 3 goals when they were already 3-0, 4-0, 5-1 and 6-1 ahead. So I'm not going to do a massive sort of like, at least we won the second half kind of thing, because I don't think that would be right. And as good as Anthony's goal was in the second half, he was as then completely at fault for Man City's 5th. So they completely cancel each other out. What I would say before I get into the full breakdown is I thought Man City were absolutely outstanding. And whatever criticisms I now label at Manchester United over the next few minutes, that's not going to take away from how fantastic Man City were. I thought they were absolutely incredible. It was one of the best Premier League performances I've seen offensively from a team. You cannot say complete performance because they still conceded 3 nonetheless. But an all-round attacking display I thought was absolutely fantastic. So I'm not going to take anything away from Man City. Like I said, I predicted this game to be a 3-0 win for Man City. I thought they would win it comfortably, but I still expect to see a little bit better from Manchester United. And for the next few minutes, I'm just going to break down all the things that I thought went wrong. And I'm going to start with the team selection in the midfield, because for me, the midfield just didn't do enough today. I was shocked not to see Casemiro in the starting lineup. I potentially would have played Fred as well. When you're playing against a team like Man City, you need the people that are going to work harder than anyone else, put a foot in and do everything they can to break up play. And that is what Fred and Casemiro are specialists at. As much as McTominay has been good so far this season, and I'll touch on his issue in a moment, I wouldn't have played him today. I would have definitely played Casemiro. And it's no surprise, in my opinion, that this result has come off the back of Christian Eriksen's worst performance in a Manchester United shirt so far. He has been my player of the season for us so far, and quite frankly, he did let us down a bit today. But the scene was set just, a minute, 10 seconds in with Dalot getting himself booked. We gave the ball away twice in the opening minute, and then Dalot lunges on a tackle on Grealish to get himself booked. The players were nervous. It was obvious they were nervous, and unfortunately for them, it's not gone well for them. So from there, I'll then move on to the issue that I had with McTominay. And I watched a video recently with Neville and Scholes, I may link it in the description of this video, talking about McTominay's main issue in that he takes it square on. So if I use Dave as an example, if I'm receiving the ball as Scott McTominay, I have a look around and I see that I'm under pressure from Dave. What McTominay does is he still receives the ball like this, with his back to the play. So all he can do is turn into trouble or play it backwards. And he did that time and time again. What the better players do, what you saw the Man City players do, is when they look over their shoulder and see that they're under pressure from Dave, they'll then receive the ball like this, meaning they've got all of this area to play with, and then they get the ball out quickly. McTominay just kept putting our defence under more and more pressure. And in a game like this, you can't have players making mistakes like that. And that's another reason why I'd have played Casemiro. From there, we have to move on to the front 4. Because, again, I thought the front 4 were very poor. Like I said, Anthony scored his goal, really good goal. But he was then at fault for the 5th goal, which cancels that out. And other than his goal, I thought all 4 of them, again, obviously Martial did what he did at the end, but lack of effort, but also lack of quality as well. You know, I go on about it all the time. I say about Rashford walking. He doesn't walk, and I'll get up again because I'm in an animated mood. This is Rashford's idea of pressing. If you just watch Rashford when he's moving around, that's what he does. Little jogs, like that. He never actually puts actual effort in to push himself on the defensive line of the opposition. He just lightly jogs around like that until the ball gets away from him. And then when he got it, he just gave it away time and time and time again. And that's where the first goal came from. Not from Rashford, but from Sancho. We actually had a 3-on-2 situation. I couldn't get the screenshot of it because it didn't go far enough back when they did the highlights. But We have the ball in a position. I think City give the ball away. And Sancho has the opportunity to play Rashford. And I think it was either Anthony or Bruno. It was definitely Rashford, but it was Anthony or Bruno in the right-hand channel. And all he has to do is play one of them in. And we've got 2v1 on the goalkeeper. But instead, he tries to go around the Kanji, gets tackled, and that leaves everyone out of position. And 5 or 6 passes later, it's 1-0 because the team has not been able to get back in shape. Phenomenal goal. Actually, in my opinion, Man City's best goal. And I know other people will have their own opinions about that, but I thought Man City's goal was actually their best goal. Pass, 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 move it around, side to side, ball in the middle, brilliant finish from Foden. I thought that was the best goal. And that was it. We were 1-0 down. And we've seen it time and time again over the last couple of years that when this Manchester United side goes 1-0 down, they just don't have it up here to deal with it. And you saw it again from Bruno, moaning at the referee. The moment before Man City score that corner, Bruno's so busy arguing with the referee about Varane being down injured and City not stopping that he's not concentrating on the corner. Now, I'm not saying that Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have been able to stop the corner, but the fact of the matter is that his head's already gone. We're 1-0 down and the heads are gone. We keep talking about, I think, Jurgen Klopp's mentality monsters. And I look at this Manchester United team and we're mentality midgets, as far as I'm concerned. The moment one thing goes wrong, they're just gone. Completely mentally, and that's what happened. The goals just started flying in 2, 3, 4, and obviously in the second half 5 and 6. Because when this team falls behind, it's like they lose all belief in themselves. It's like, oh well, we tried. Let's just see if we can see it out. But in all these games we've been winning against Liverpool, against Arsenal, we've never been behind. We've always been ahead or level where we believe that we can go on and then win the game. The moment this team goes 1-0 down, it all falls apart. And then we have De Gea. And you guys know how much I like to moan about De Gea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my usual process. And I'm going to moan about De Gea. And we'll start with the corner. I don't think I need to say anything more. How is Erling Haaland having a header in the middle of the goal inside the 6-yard box from a corner? Keeper's ball all day long. Then we have the third and fourth goal, which were applauded for such unbelievable build-up play from Manchester City. And it was. But in my opinion, these goals are also on De Gea. And here's why. Here's his positioning for the start of the third goal. I don't think that's a bad starting position. He's in a, he's got to protect himself from the shot. But De Bruyne's putting the ball in, and you know the quality that De Bruyne's got. I also think if Varane's not limping after his injury, he would have dealt with this ball. But that's another story for another day. And it's a great ball from De Bruyne. But De Bruyne's played that ball in here. And here's De Gea when Haaland receives it. He's barely moved. And in all that time, that ball's travelled a long way. And it's bounced before it's reached De Gea. Or it's reached Haaland. He's made no effort to close down the shot or deal with the ball into the box. In my opinion, from that position, he can potentially come out and receive the ball here himself. And then, obviously, like I said, when he gets to there is no pressure on Haaland. It's a great finish from Haaland, don't get me wrong. But De Gea should, if he's not going to play the ball, De Gea should be here and not here. So, that's the second goal. And then we have the third goal, which in my opinion is the worst of the lot. His starting position is here. Again, very good starting position. But, he's in control of his area. This is where I am. I can deal with everything that comes into play from here. By the time Haaland plays the pass, he's dropped back into here. In my opinion, that's too deep. Yes, Haaland is more than capable of drilling it at that near post. But if De Gea is again around here, he can still get across and make the save there. Plus, I think it's obvious that Haaland's going to go for the pass here. As good as he is, he's never shooting from that position. So, Haaland has now passed the ball here, and De Gea is here. So, a lot of ground to cover, but plenty of space for De Gea to come out and deal with the ball. And by the time he gets to Foden, he's not moved. Again. He's gone from there to there. No effort to come out and deal with the cross. No effort to put any pressure on Foden's shot. And the ball's in the back of the net for 4-0. And as harsh as it may seem, I'm obviously not a goalkeeper. But in my opinion, all three of those goals sit on David De Gea. And yeah, again, I know we could have stopped the play in the build-up, but that's where it comes down to the team selection of where I'd have Fresh and Casemiro. Eriksen was never going to be able to stop De Bruyne in that position. Dalot had already been booked, so I couldn't put a challenge in on Haaland. And Foden was already away from Malacia, and we know how quick Foden is. So, for me, as good as a goal that was, De Gea, again, has to be at blame for that. And I don't really know what else there is to say. From 4-0 down, like I said, City switched off. We had a much better second half. But, you know, when Antony scored, City went, well, we're not going to allow this. And then scored 5 and 6. You know, again, 2 very good goals. I can't really be critical of the 5th and the 6th. I just thought they were good goals that could have been scored against anyone. Antony obviously at fault for the 5th one again. And then Foden's goal, little bit of luck, but also a little bit of laziness. And that's really all there is to say. I think we'll see wholesale changes for the Europa League game like we would anyway. But I think we have to seriously do something about the mentality of these players when the going starts getting tough. Because yet again, it's been proven that they just haven't got the mindset to deal with, A, the pressure of a big game, period. I know they did it against Liverpool and they did it against Arsenal, but that was after very shaky starts in both games, where Arsenal were obviously unlucky not to get their opener because of the whole Odegaard-Eriksen incident. And it would have been very interesting to see what would have happened if that goal would have stood. And yeah, that early goal did go in today. And we've crumbled again. So whatever Erik ten Hag needs to work on, I think the biggest issue he's going to have to deal with is how we cope with a bad situation. Because I just don't see that improving. And if that means a whole new team is required, then it might just mean that a whole new team is required, because I'm not seeing enough effort and enough desire from these Manchester United players when they go behind. And that is going to be it for today. As always, please let me know down in the comments what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of my opinions. Like, do you think I'm being far too harsh on De Gea? Or should we be looking for something with a little bit more impetus from him? How would you make changes to the team? And yeah, that is going to be it. Drop a like on the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you again very soon.